Welcome to Junction 11's latest offer from the CGI department, which we've labelled New Room. I'm going to give you a run through, really quick introduction, bit of an overview, some demonstrations, and just give you a good understanding of what New Room can do for you. So we're based in Banbury, just off Junction 11 on the M40. We're dedicated photographic studios with retouching, CGI, film capabilities. Work with some great clients. Been head of CGI now for several years, and this is our latest offer. Just trying to explain a little bit how you can go from an empty set like this to a full set like this. And really the benefits and the advantages that we hope we can kind of bring your studios and address some of the issues that we know a lot of our clients have when trying to build with traditional studio room sets as well as location houses. So we're just going to kind of run through each of these topics and just kind of really quickly just give you a bit of an idea just how it can work. Saves you a lot of money on expensive build costs where potentially you don't need to do it, especially if your product is not available yet. If you're showing a flooring, if you're showing a furniture range, possibly some fabrics, maybe art or lighting. You've got issues with having to set up and build studio set builds in studios, which takes up obviously studio hire days, as well as issues with location houses and getting decent weathering and the availability of location houses. We'll touch on some examples of issues that can come about with some of those traditional location places as well later on in the presentation. So the great advantage with CGI is that we can come back, weeks or months later. We've got a reusable asset. We can be sure that the camera's in the same place, the lights are still as we left them, and if there's an update or a remodeling, some new elements to bring to the set, then we can add those really easily without the need to rebuild a whole set and camera match. So just be clear, there really is no limitation on your creativity. Rather than being limited by perhaps the space in a studio as to the set you can build, or limited by the location house that you've managed to find, and being limited on the things that you're allowed to change in there. There's obviously existing flooring and walling. It's difficult potentially to change all of those things, or very costly. So you just have great freedom to allow your creativity to start from a different place. And you can be sure that no one else has shot there. None of your competitors have perhaps been there and done their last campaign, which might have been a month or weeks ago. So you can really be sure that what you're getting is bespoke to you and to your client. And all the time, we're using our photographic knowledge, we're using photographers, lending their skills, being involved in the process here. It's all about the end result, and it's all about, if we have the products, we'll shoot them. And we can kind of make sure that we use all of those skills and knowledge of lighting, that we match the CGI lighting to the lighting we've got for props or for elements that are going to support the whole stage and the set. So here's just a few things with set builds. When adding ceilings, things like that, it can often add, just for the structure, time limitations on lighting, quite a bit to a set build in terms of time as well as cost. You obviously have limitations in terms of the type of lighting that you can apply, reflective elements in there and what they see. You haven't got the rest of a building or a set being created. Location houses, particular rooms. Again, you're going to be cramped in terms of where you can put a tripod for a camera. Lighting rigs, gets really hot in there, getting all the right power supplies. And again, struggling with the time of day and the lighting that may not be exactly what you're after. So we've started with something like typically we'd love to get from a client, which is a great mood board showing different styles, potentially bits of furniture they'd like to achieve, certain props, wall colorings, all those sorts of things, just really giving us a great scope of detail. For our example, we've almost used like a first floor apartment. So we have a mock bedroom, we have a mock lounge. We've only built up one of these rooms at the moment, but there's scope to do a kitchen and a bathroom, a hallway if you needed. And again, depending on what the product is you're showing, you can obviously go down the route of showing, an older style, a contemporary style, or a country style, whatever it is that you might need. In these couple of examples here, we've just shown how you can kind of change your lighting and change your props out. And really just going from these empty rooms, this is a full CG lit interior. I'm going to do a quick little demo in 3D just to help you kind of understand that space and how we can move props around in there. So here we are in the 3D package. Just want to quickly show you some of the features and things we have in 3D. If you've not experienced it before, then they're just simple things we can obviously move and manipulate certain props and items around. In theory, you can obviously move and change positions of walls. A little bit more detailed in this one just because there's architrave and skirting board and detailing, but yeah, just for the purpose of the demonstration, get an idea. We can obviously move our camera position and height around without a problem. Again, it just allows you to frame your shot. You could potentially obviously set up some macro views if there were some other details you wanted to bring out. This is obviously just a shaded view just to give you the artist working on the scene an impression of what's going on. But yeah, it just allows you, we can completely remove and hide these objects and bring in different ones. You can obviously move lights, other elements like that around in the scene. So yeah, just quickly give you a bit of an overview of how we can move stuff in 3D. Alright, we'll head back to the presentation. And these are just some early tests and trials, putting in different props, different positions, some lens effects, depth of field, all that sort of stuff. And these couple of elements that we have placed into the scene, they happen to be photography. And if you just look at the elements highlighted inside the yellow box, you see the flowers in the mirror. Again, where the lights are positioned, there's obviously the wall light to its right, there's the table lamp, bedside table lamp underneath, and we're getting lighting coming in from the window. These are the separate elements that were shot in the studio. And again, the photographers worked really well in getting the reflections, the tones, the elements in there. And there you can see it behind the shot to understand and see that we've got lights that mimic those lights that were in the scene. Really just helping to bring and bed all those elements together. So just a really quick recap, New Room is all about working alongside photography. Just giving you flexibility, allowing you the ability to sort of go to any location virtually. It saves you time and money, hopefully a lot of hassle. Again, you can kind of update those products that perhaps haven't been released yet. We can get textures and samples, allows you to showcase the detail, possibly give you other custom macro views or close-up detail shots that you may not have been able to get. Something that's reusable. And you can do video, you can get this stuff out for web and for digital. So yeah, it's just a really quick roundup of New Room, the latest offer from Junction 11.